Hey there, welcome to the virtual table. So we tried to do a playthrough of EU5 before, and I had some audio issues. Please accept my apologies for that. They appear to be fixed now. I just recorded about 2 minutes of video and it sounded perfect. So please let me know if there's still any issues. I do have a problem where my microphone will detach from my headset. So like if I ever pause the video because I need to go to the bathroom or get a drink of water, that does happen from time to time, and that's clearly user error. It's not intentional at all, but that may still happen. I try not to allow that. But anyways, we're going to show the new game, Europa Universalis 5, and get into that. The big thing with this game is, well, there's several things. The first one is it's very clear that I get some randos who come to this channel that are not familiar with this channel, and that's totally okay. Like, that's not the issue. But then they like give me feedback that they need me to edit my videos. I'm not going to edit my videos, folks. And I just want to make it very clear. We're doing a playthrough together. A playthrough, not a snipped out, hey, I played the game for you, and now I'm just going to show you my highlights. Okay? That's not how this is going to work. And if that's what you're looking for, then go somewhere else. And here, I got a few suggestions. So here's my suggestion. There's a YouTuber, his name is Laith, Laith. You can see him right here. He has the ultimate guide for EU5, and here you can see I watched most of it. And it's 3 hours long. So have fun. Well, actually, it's 2 hours long. He shortened it, I guess. But it just goes to show that it's even my videos are going to seem long, but his is 2 hours long, and he covers all the topics of the game. He has playthroughs where he plays as different nations, and he edits out the boring parts so you can just see the highlights. Have at it. And in fact, he does this for the money. He wants likes, he wants subscribes, he gets kickbacks for viewing his channel and buying the game. He gets all that stuff. And I don't. And I'm not asking for any likes, I'm not asking for any subscribes, although they always help. I don't ask for them. Because the goal here is we're playing the game and we're chatting about it together. So I just want to make that very clear, because I think some people get here and they have the wrong idea, because you guys are used to YouTubers like this. I'm not one of these YouTubers. So just spare me the heartache of the feedback. It's really not welcome. Okay, let's jump into the game now. So yeah, let's do a new game here. Alright, so a couple of things. We did a previous playthrough. I don't recommend watching it, although I did go through a lot of the strategy. A lot of that hasn't changed. I have played this game significantly since it came out. It's been out less than a week, and I'm at 90 some hours. So yeah, I've been pretty busy. I even had a few days off work, so that helps. If you're playing for the very first time, and it surprised some of the people I'm talking to, but Bohemia is the easiest country in the game to start out as. And I know that sounds crazy, but it is. They have, and it's going to be hard to see, but they have gold mines. Oh, I think it's this province right here. There's one gold mine there, and then I think there's 3 more. But this is the big one. You just max out the gold production, and then you sell it to the other markets, and you just watch the cash roll in. You will have more money than you know what to do with. In fact, you'll buy everything that you can possibly buy and then wonder, is that it? Bohemia. Now, my son was bragging about how awesome his Bohemia was, and then he hit the Hussite Wars, which I think happens in the late 1300s, early 1400s, and he got his butt kicked because all of Europe declared war on him, which I think is, what brings Bohemia back to planet Earth. But enjoy the ride in the beginning. It's a very easy game. Like the money just floods in, and when you have infinite money, it's almost like a cheat code. And you could build anything you want. You could practice around with your economy. You can make all kinds of mistakes. It's totally cool. France is insanely powerful. You will have pesky England at war with you, and they will try to make your life miserable. But you should be able to do okay if you want to play a bigger country as France. All these other countries, they're going to be a little tougher, but they're definitely fine. Hungary also has a bunch of gold mines if you want to try that out. The Byzantines are going to have the Ottomans. There's going to be a lot of events that are going to give Ottomans big perks. But anyways, we're going to do Portugal, which we could do Castile. It's a lot bigger, more powerful. But Portugal is sort of like this nice little niche where they're not powerful enough to do anything. But you could still get a lot of the gameplay in. So make sure you turn on Iron Man if you want the achievements to be available. Okay, so we're going to go through again. I think a lot of people, they try to take the time to explain every little thing, and I'm not going to do that. We're going to just go in and talk about the strategies as we encounter them, which there's a lot. And as you saw that Lathe video, which is a very finely edited video by a YouTuber who takes his editing very seriously, and it was still, an hour and 47 minutes long. So just understand that a very finely edited video was an hour 47 minutes long. So you're in for a trip with this game. Now, with that said, this is just trying to help you with, how you're starting. And a couple of things you need to get squared away, no matter what country you start with. The thought process is generally the same. You need to have a positive income. I'm currently at a -8, so we're going to have to fix that. That's item number 1. Item 2, which is unique to Portugal, they're very weak compared to Castile. This game is a population-based game. EU4, you generated manpower as an abstract, and as a small nation, you would generate less manpower typically, but you can get ideas and other features that increased your manpower and made it so you could actually go toe-to-toe against larger countries without too much issue. And then the whole mercenary concept allowed you to do that as well. They have mercenaries in this game, but they're not quite as powerful, and you certainly can't rely on them. And in fact, I'm going to show you, like here, all of our actions are done through these tabs here. This is your to-do list, things to pay attention to. This is your information. It's just information. I mean, you can click on it to jump to your to-do list, but down at the bottom is all maps. Changing the type of map that you see. We're currently looking at a a terrain map, as you can see, and then we can switch it to a political map. Looks like that. Anyways, our situation is, and just like any situation with small countries, and it's a gripe with EU5 in a way, small countries cannot win wars against large countries, period. It doesn't matter what you think, and somebody's going to come in and brag, and maybe 100 years from now they could pull it off, but right now at this stage in the game, you're at the mercy of the stronger countries around you. The reason is you have less population than them. And when you generate an army, you're mostly going to generate a levy, right? You're going to raise levies. Here you can see I could raise roughly 17,000 troops. Castile can raise 4 times as many. So even if I have a great general, even if I, use the terrain and the forts properly to generate attrition in their armies, Castile will send 80,000 troops into my border, and they will rumple-stomp my 17,000 like they were nothing, and I will just sit there and watch my country crumble. You absolutely cannot win a battle against Castile. So, if you can't beat them, join them. So first thing you always should do is improve their opinion, because right now they're not willing to do an alliance with you. And so here's my caveat. If they declare war on me immediately, I lose. We're starting over. The only good news is we're not going to get that far in the game, right? So you didn't waste that much time. Now, there is a glitch with this game. And it's less of a glitch and more of an information glitch. I was allied with Castile, playing as Portugal, offline, not recording or anything, just to make sure that I actually knew what I was talking about when I recorded this video for you guys. And I made it, I was doing really well. Like, I was very proud of my game. And then all of a sudden, Castile declares war on me. And I'm like, how? They're my allies. Somehow, throughout the course of the game, our alliance broke apart. And I never saw a pop-up to tell me that. So one thing I got to remember, and you do too, is just check on your alliances from time to time. And there's many ways to do it, but the biggest one is to, like right here under Diplomacy tab, if you look at your relations, we currently have, we're improving the opinion of Castile. If we had an alliance with them, it would show up down here on this. And it's under the Diplomacy Relations tab. So we absolutely need to be in an alliance with them. With Castile, Portugal and Castile together can hold their own. We can beat back Morocco. We can beat back Aragon. We can even, we're not going to necessarily beat France, but we can at least beat them back. France is going to be busy focusing on England, so we don't have to worry about France that much. Now, Tunis is extremely powerful at this stage of the game, and they will give you a run for their money because they're usually going to be allied with Tlemcen here and Morocco. I don't know how to pronounce this, so I apologize if I'm doing it wrong. So you'll be battling all three of these at once. It will be a test. But anyways, it is just understand, you got to ally with Castile. It's your only way to get out of the early years. Now, EU4 started in the year 1444. As you can see, it's 1337, so we're over 100 years earlier in the game. They made this decision. It's an interesting one. My son is not happy with it at all because basically you regress technologically, so the availability of cannons and even gunpowder is so much more limited, and it's more backwards. And so what they did was they implemented this concept called control, which is your key here, and the control is really strong at your capital. And then you can see it's strong here and around the capital, but then it gets weaker the further out you go. This is to represent that, you know, back in those days, if you maintained a large empire, you couldn't control the entire empire from your capital. It was just impossible with the way roads and transportation worked. So this game does use a combination of roads, which you can sort of see. You can see them a little better here, that there's a road that goes along here. And, of course, there's a river that helps a little bit, but not as much as you would think. And then there's a maritime presence, which is along the shore. So the game has several things. If I go over here to, I think it's the blue tab. Yes. There's natural harbor suitability right here. So you click on this, then this. This shows your natural harbors in the game. So where you see the green, and there's always like a little legend key here. Green is 100%. So the control from the capital into the sea is best at a green location. And then the control goes along the sea, and then it tries to enter the land at each spot. Well, the yellow means it's got a 50% bonus. The green is like a perfect bonus, or as good of a bonus as you're going to get. So our territory, we don't own this territory down here or that one up there. But what I'm trying to say is that the control, instead of following the road, the control might go along the sea if it's easier. So the sea zone, as you can see, is really large. And the actual territory zones, you can see there's 1, 2, 3 territories in the same space as one sea zone. Now, why am I explaining this? Well, control's important, right? And you can see that it's actually still really good here. But as we taper away, it drops down and then drops down some more. But then it jumps back up here. And I think that was where the yellow was, if I remember correctly. And so Porto here has a nice natural harbor. Not a green one, mind you, but it's yellow. And you can see that the control jumped up to 66. Because it's easier to go along the sea and then enter here. And then the control actually goes out from Porto. So now, how does it work? You have 100 control points, and every time you leave one province to go to the next, you lose 40 points. Now, you might be wondering, well, hold on, that's only 30 points. Yes, that's because there's roads. Roads reduce the cost of 40 down to 20. And there's different levels of roads. There's a road level 1, road level 2. Eventually, you get to railroads, which reduces the cost to 5. So if you just do some quick math, at 40 apiece, your capital with no roads is only going to be able to have control for 2 provinces away. And it doesn't matter what size the province is, by the way. So this province is really large. That's still 2 provinces away from... Well, actually, this is 2 provinces away from the capital. This is 3 provinces away. So with roads, that reduces the cost to, to 20 instead of 40. So you can get a little more provinces in. And then the sea zones are the same way. And like if I click on this sea zone, you can see it's a plus 50. The maritime presence is 50. And basically, we're getting 15 from Lisbon. This is a location that's given us 8 and 10. And it's changing by 0.09. There's an equilibrium that it'll eventually hit. And so what is maritime presence? It says, we have along our coast is vital for both trade and for control. It builds up over time if we're at peace. Just from having ports. And a blockade will quickly reduce. High presence reduces the proximity. That's the term in the game. Proximity is how close a location is to the capital. Tracing a path through roads, maritime presence from coastal locations increases the proximity. Has a direct impact on control. Now, you might be wondering, how on earth do you calculate control? Well, a lot of it's just right here with the key. So I got this 43 here. I hover over here and you can see it's 43% control. And it's stated in several places. It's also up here. It's actually going down. But that's pretty normal. The maximum control is going to be 38. So this is actually going to equalize at 38. That creates so we have a potential tax base of 1 ducat, but because of the low control, we're only getting 43 cents instead of $1.02. Okay, so the lower control is causing us to get less money than the potential. And that's why control is so important. That's why I'm spending so much time talking about it right now. You have to always be mindful of that. And so we're going to try to find ways to increase control. You've already heard a few of them. Maritime presence, and then building roads. Roads are super expensive. We're not going to be building roads for a while. But we do have the ability to do maritime presence now. So I got a navy. It's a bunch of junk ships. But if you look at each ship, there's a lot of statistics on it. Number of cannons, movement speed. But the big one here is the anchor. Maritime presence is 0.1. Each ship individually contributes to the maritime presence. And so I'm going to assign an admiral to my navy. Let's do this guy. And then we're going to put him on a mission to patrol the seas to increase maritime presence. And it's going to do the whole side. Now, here's the thing. Their presence is going to get added up and divided amongst all. So if I select the entire world, you're dividing amongst all the sea provinces So you're diluting the strength that they're providing to the maritime presence. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to right click on a few of these. Oh, here we go. Let's select them. And I'm going to turn off the Gulf of Cadiz and only do the coast of Portugal here. So I'm cutting these two out. That's going to make it so they're a little more powerful, and they're not going to help these ones down here, but they'll help this side. It's just a sacrifice I'm making for now to help it out a little bit more. Okay, so we talked quite a lot about control. These areas in the back are going to be really hard to get control to. The best way to do that is to build a road from Porto to there. Now you might be wondering, well, why not from your capital? Well, it's too many spaces away, and so they're going to trace along the maritime presence, land here, and then keep going. That's how you're going to trace your control path. But that's a longer term thing. Now, let me just show you. I'm going to click on Lisbon and or Lisboa, and here's the build road tool. So if I want to build a road back to here, you can see it's going to cost 669 ducats. I have 378 right now, and that's actually cheap. I think the cost is going to go up by the time we actually do it, because I think the cost is based on other factors. But yeah, there's 883, and you can see it's reducing the distance to the capital to 20 instead of 40. So the first level road is the most critical. Level 2 and level 3 are less important, but the first one is very, very critical. And we do have some roads in place. That's what you see with the gray here. So from Lisbon, we have roads to all these provinces. So there's a road already in place. Okay, so that's what we got to start. Okay, next thing that's important. This little circle here is the estate power. We need crown power to be over 25%. Some of these things I explained in my last video, I'm starting over. We need crown power to be 25%. Why? Because if you're below 25%, you get all these red penalties here. One of them is how much taxes you get, how effective your cabinet is. Even your trade income, which is green, that's a lower number than it would be if you had higher power. So even though it's green, it's still lower than normal. Even the building upkeep cost is higher. Okay, so you need to get that above 25%. It makes all these numbers get way better. Anything above 25% is still good. It's just that it's not as good. Like 25% is the big milestone. Now, everybody else, you want them to be below 25%. So since they're above 25%, we get these penalties, if you will. This is the biggest penalty, is that we can't tax them as much. Everybody else is already below. The key thing to understand with estate power is if my power grows, then everybody else's shrinks. And it's very rare that I'm going to take it just from the nobles and give it to someone else. It's usually like, if I go up 4 points, each one of these is going down 1. It's that kind of thing. Okay, I gotta go get something to drink. I will be right back. Alright, so I promise we will unpause this very soon. Double click, I don't know where there we go. So let's bring it back to, there's a raw materials view, which every province in the entire world produces one good, as it's what they call an RGO. Now, RGOs are a little complicated to explain, but basically it's a natural thing that they produce. You don't have to build any special building. It's just, the industry is just there. And there's a capacity of how much of it you can produce. Okay? And so perfect example is lumber. So this province right here produces lumber as an RGO. And you can see I can create 8 of them. Right now there's 1 out of 8. So I can improve it 7 more times for 33 ducats each, and it's going to employ 1,000 employees, laborers in fact, So it would be 8,000 laborers would be needed to man all 8 of these if they were all built, right now. Okay? So, and I know I probably jumped way ahead, but this is your money up here. And obviously, one of the major sources of income is selling these goods to the market. When you sell a good to the market, you make money, which is right here. And then you also make tax money. So we're going to collect 70 cents in taxes from this province. A lot of it's lost because of the control. The control's at 64. So I lose 35% because of tax or because of control issues. It's normally would be $1 in tax, but it's down to 70 cents. And it shows you that the different classes of people pay different amounts. And then of course this is how much we collect from them. The clergy never pay taxes. It's a monarchy or a Catholic thing. If you don't like it, don't be a Catholic nation. And then you could see also a breakdown of the different types of different classes of people. So you have your peasants, your laborers, your clerics, and your nobles. And then it shows how many so I have 31 nobles. I have 63 clerics, 1,000 laborers, but 0 are available for work. So all 1,000 of them are working. But the key thing to see here is that the promotion is 11. So every month, 11 of these 12,000 peasants is going to promote up and become a laborer. So if I need more laborers, I'll eventually get enough because I have 12,000 people that will eventually become a laborer. It just takes time. And as I said, there's 12,000 of them down here, and you can see the promotion level is 11. And you can see that it says the next month, the following promotions would happen. 1 cleric and 1 noble would happen. And then 11 of them should go to labor. Or maybe it's 9 go to labor, and then this is 10 and 11. Trust me, most of them go to labor. But it tells you exactly how many are going to clerics and nobles. I'm assuming it doesn't tell you labor because that's the remainder. Okay, so with that out of the way, you have your RGO that makes lumber. And like I said, it's not a free industry. You still have to put workers there. You still have to pay maintenance. You still have to buy tools so you could run your industry. But here's what I mean. I can also go here into the laborers section. And these are the different buildings I can build for a laborer. And I can build a sawmill. And what does a sawmill do? It produces extra lumber. Actually, that's a bad example. Yeah, there is no lumber one. So, that's actually a good one though, because for this province, I want a sawmill there because it'll boost my lumber output. So that's an important one for later. Let's go to fruit. We should have a fruit here. Here we go. This one is fruit. Same concept. There's 1 out of 9, blah, 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 just like before, right? But I could go here and build a fruit orchard. And a fruit orchard will convert some lumber into 0.3 fruit. So I can build that fruit orchard in the same area that produces fruit already. But they're 2 different types of buildings. The thing that's important, though, is if I go back to the lumber one, I can also build a fruit orchard. So that province will produce lumber and fruit if I do both. All I'm trying to say is that the RGO is separate. Like, you can build a fruit orchard, yes, because it is possible some countries don't have any fruit anywhere. So you're going to have to build fruit orchards. That's the only way you can get fruit for your country. So in this case, though, I at least have one province that makes fruit. All right, there's another one right here. Okay, so as long as you understand that RGO is different than a production building, we're good. And every territory has exactly one RGO and never more than one. And the reason why I was telling you that Bohemia is so powerful is we got a little legend key. I can type in gold. So now the game is filtered on gold. This is Bohemia right here. There's 3 gold. I'm sorry, this is Bohemia. There's a level 3 gold building here and a level 2 gold building here. And I think some of these are provinces that they have as vassals. So they got more gold in their provinces up here that are vassals. And here you can see Hungary. This is Hungary. Look, they got 1, 2, 3. They have 5 gold mines. Hungary does. Austria has 0. And most of Europe has 0, including us. The closest gold mine to us is down here in Morocco. There's 1 single gold mine right there. So gold is extremely valuable at this stage of the game. And these 2 countries that have most of the gold are just going to be rolling in the money. Rolling in it. It's not even going to be funny. And Bohemia in particular is just better suited than Hungary. And it's largely because the capital of Bohemia is right here, and control works in a radial fashion. So they're going to have really high control over this region, which has gold. Whereas Hungary, their capital is here, and these gold mines are really far away. These ones are a little closer, but you get the gist. Okay. All right. So RGOs are separate from buildings, and buildings are definitely cool, and there are so many of them. It is possible to forget that these buildings exist, and you will see me do that from time to time, so please forgive me. Okay, last thing we need to do is let's just go through our to-do list. We'll mark everything off, and then we can unpause the game. I'll explain other concepts as we go. The last thing one other thing that is important, I keep saying last thing, it won't be the last. We are in a market, the Lisboa market here, and you can see this is the market. It's literally our country is the market. Castile has 2 separate markets, so some countries have more than 1 market in them. Here you can see, Britain, Scotland, and Ireland have separate ones. Paris is a really huge one. Bordeaux, and you can see Barcelona, etc., etc. So what does it mean? It just means that every province sells their goods to the market that they're a part of. If for some reason this province right here can travel in a shorter distance to the Burgos market than it does to this market, which is all the way down in Lisboa, and that is possible, these provinces will switch to the Burgos market. Now, my ability to participate in the market trading in Burgos is only going to happen if I own territory in Burgos, or if I have some kind of trade capacity in Burgos. Right now, the only market I have presence in is Lisboa. And in that market, I have 11.33 capacity, which just simply means I could sell 11.33 worth of goods. And there's all the goods. There's so many detailed information here, but the key thing to understand is that's a surplus. My supply is 15. My demand is 3.64. So I have a surplus of 11 fish. So I should probably sell some fish. That's how you want to consider the game. Now, this is going to let me open buildings that will produce more fish. This lets me open up the RGOs, those special things, because some RGOs make only fish. And then this will let me select a market to import fish from. I'm allowed to buy from other markets. And then I can select a market to export fish to. But I'm doing it from the Lisboa market. So I can, for example, do this and it'll show me all these other markets. But if you'll notice, I don't have access to any of them. I have no presence. These ones I do have presence. And it shows a trade route. So if I want to trade with Oslo here, it shows that my merchants will follow this trade route that goes up to Oslo. Like so. And I can use my 11.33 capacity means I can sell 11 units of my fish. Remember, I have 33 units left over, right? Surplus. So I would sell 1/3 of my surplus to Oslo, and I'm going to lose 5 cents, 5 ducats, because I have to buy it from my market and sell it in their market. And to try to sell fish to the area that probably is the king of fish, that's probably not a good deal. Now I can come up here and filter it so we can see there is no profit to be had in any market. So selling fish is not the way to go. So Lisboa starts with a horrible fish system. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. This is importing fish. I apologize. This is buying fish. So I apologize. So this is if I buy fish from Oslo and sell it here, I'm going to lose profit. Now, if I go back and try to export, here you can see there's actually Seville here is willing to pay 2 ducats for fish. That's a really good deal. So they have a shortage of fish right now. So this is actually a fantastic trade. That one right there. And so we could set those up manually. One thing we do need is we need gold and silver. That's important as well. So if I spend all my trade capacity doing this, I won't be able to buy any gold or silver from other markets. But that's part of the decision making you got to do. Okay, so in order to help this game along, I am going to automate the markets and the trading. You can manually do it, and I just showed you how. It's just that if you do actually set that every single time a month goes by, you got to recheck your markets because prices change every month. And they change based on supply and demand. So if I sell a bunch of fish to Seville, Seville may have built a bunch of their fishing industry. So the combination of me selling a bunch and them producing more just suddenly made fish not worth selling there anymore. Now they do have some pop-ups to try to help you, but trust me, you're going to spend a crap ton of your game just buying and selling at the markets. And if that's fun for you, then by all means do not automate it. And you saw what we can do with the market. Now that's just me looking at my own market. If I just click this, these are all the markets. And you can look at any market you like this is the Bruges market, and see what they're, here's they're really short on wool. So if you could somehow sell wool to Bruges, you're going to make a killing off of them. So I hope that makes sense. And it's real nice. I mean, just look at it's just supply and demand economics. And here you can see that the price is around between $2.50 and $1.89. And you can even sort it by, okay, what's their highest price item? Well, it's gold, of course. And then the next one is elephants and then silver. And that's the same exact thing as our market, by the way. Our market's going to look identical to that. And how do I get it to just filter back on my own market? Here we go. Has presence. Okay. So if you look at ours, it's the same deal. Gold, elephants, silver, then cotton. This is the only one we can produce, fine cloth. And we will do that, by the way. Fine cloth is the top item. We currently produce 0, you can see here, but we're going to change that. And then jewelry is the next one, and then books is the 3rd. And then saffron, 4th. Okay? So if you got that in your head, you're going to be good. All right, so we're going to automate the markets and the trades. At any time, you can stop and see what the game's doing, decide if you like it or not. It does a decent job. The key thing we're going to focus on is our balance sheet and then the production tab. We're going to manage our own production, and that means we're going to produce buildings. And then you have a goods tab, which is very similar to the market. And this is filtered just on our market alone. I could shut this off and look at all markets, but these are goods in provinces we control. This is not about trading. This is about building stuff in provinces we control. If I control provinces in more than one market, then that might change things, right? Anyways, getting back to this, if I sort this, you can see that the highest price good is, once again, the fine cloth. So I can come here and click on fine cloth, and it says that a Tailor's Guild building is what builds that. So I'm going to build one of those, and then these are all the provinces that can build a Tailor's Guild, and you can sort them so you can see that Lisboa is going to get the highest profit. Now, why is theirs higher than everybody else? Remember, that's the control thing we talked about at the beginning. The control in Lisboa is 100. We get no penalty for any good. So if you ever heard of the term tall versus wide, you want to play tall in the early game of EU5. I'm not saying you can't go wide. It's just in the early game you want to go tall. Lisboa is going to get you pretty much the best profit almost every time. So we're going to build. I'm going to build 4 of them. I might even build 5. I just want to see how much money I have left. We're going to build 4 right now. And now Centaurim's not a bad one. We could build another one there. But I'm going to build 4. And we'll call that a day for now. And then let's go back. So that's one way to look at it. The other one is we could look at the raw goods. The best raw good right now is iron. That's going to give me $1.49. So if I hover over it, you can see that there's 3 provinces that produce iron as an RGO. So we could improve those this way. Or there's an RGO builder I can click on, and these are all my RGOs, and I can sort them. And you'll see, once again, that iron's at the top, but you can see what that horses are second, etc. And then we could choose to, now you can see why there's 2 iron here, horse in the middle. What it's just saying is this one has less control, so the iron there doesn't sell as well. So you want to improve this iron first, and then the horse is actually going to get you more money than trying to improve the second iron. That's all that's really telling you. So we got this here, and then we have here you can try to buy and sell from the market. So this production tab is almost more useful than the market tab, because you can see all your prices, what you produce, and then I can say, hey, I want to export it or import it because I want more of this good. You can do all that straight from here. And then this is even the surplus. Like you can see that we have the highest surplus of fish, and we have the biggest deficit of fruit. So we want to definitely build some fruit to help with our deficit there. And here we can see we have a deficit of clay, but we don't produce clay with any RGO. So we're going to have to produce that the hard way. Okay, so we definitely want to spend money on these because that's investing in our economy, and it will pay back in spades. So we make money from taxes. We also make money every time they sell a good to the market. We get to take a cut of what they sell to the market. That's actually part of our tax revenue. So so it's very important for us to be able to build these goods as well. Okay, now let's go through the top here. Geopolitics we'll look at later. Military later. Diplomacy will help us when we're needing. We already used it once to start improving relations with Castile. This is our research tab. I'm going to click on the queue real quick. There is a tree queue. These are already researched because we're in era 1. And there's 2 things that have yet to be researched: the meritocracy and organized religion. Now, each of these are institutions. If you're familiar with EU4, it's the same concept, institutions. Meritocracy is an institution we have not adopted yet. And it started somewhere in Wuhan, which is China. So this is going to take a long time before it spreads to our location. And if you're not familiar with EU4, the concept of institutions is that it starts somewhere. Like the printing press will start in a certain location, or the Renaissance will start in Florence, Italy, and then it spreads, like word of mouth, etc. So it takes a while before Russia picks up on it and actually adopts the concept of the Renaissance, or adopts the concept of the printing press, right? It doesn't just instantaneously go worldwide like it does today on the internet. It takes time for word of mouth to spread. And so that's what institution represents. So the concept of meritocracy started in China, and it's going to get here when it gets here. We'll be midway through the age of Renaissance before we ever get meritocracy. The one that exists right now is organized religion, and that's available to us right now. So when we go to our research, this is the only thing available. And here you can see we have a tree of research we get to do. Trust me, this is more than enough. You won't be able to research all this before you unlock another tree, if you will. Eventually, Age of Renaissance is going to come. We're going to go into this age, and you can see that there's institutions that we're going to have to pick up. Renaissance institution, banking. This is professional armies. And then the one we're going to get for free is this one we'll unlock for free just by getting to the Age of Renaissance. Then there's Age of Discovery and so forth. It just keeps going. So lots and lots of tech and advancements. The thing to understand is that the stuff in purple here are unique. This is unique to every Catholic nation. So if you're not playing a Catholic nation, this tech is not going to be here for you. If you're a Muslim or whatever, they probably have Muslim-specific things here. This one is not unique, meaning that every nation is going to be able to research these. Some nations have unique technology just for your nation, or some cultures do. So the game does a great job of, hey, you're this nation of Cologne, but you're part of the German culture. So the German culture might all have access to a specific technology. So it doesn't matter if you play as Brandenburg or Cologne. They're both of the German culture, so they're both going to get that technology. Very, very cool. I love how they did that in this game. Okay, so in the beginning, it's real simple. There's only one tech available. It's organized religion. It's going to create possible clerics in towns and city of plus 50, which means we're going to be able to add more to the town. And that's really good because the most educated people in your society is going to be the clerics. And this is also going to increase their literacy by plus 5%. And I'm going to research that. Now you're going to say, okay, well, how did these show up? It's the tree. So I'm researching this, and these are the ones further down in the tree. So what I could do is I could set up a queue. I can select 4, 5, 30, 50, however many, and we can queue them up. Now, this literacy thing, you might be wondering, okay, what's that? Well, it's just right above. We research 1.33 progress a month. The progress needed for this is 25. So it's 25 divided by 1.33. So you can see it's going to take quite a few months to get that resolved. The amount of research points we have goes up if we have literacy go up. And then however many institutions we have, every one's going to give us 5%. We start the game knowing 2 institutions. If you start as like the Native Americans, you're going to have 0 institutions. So they're going to have even slower research progress. And then this is how happy the clergy is, which is this green bar. This is our nobles, clergy, burghers, peasants, commoners. Okay, so we're going to research this. Literacy is going into our monthly research, the skill of our artists, and then how innovative our society is going to be. Now, that innovative thing is here in the government tab. These are, our country can be, like right now, we're very strongly traditional economy. We could start to move this way by getting a bunch of capital points and eventually become a strong capital economy. The traditional economy, think farms and rural, and think city and skyscrapers. That's really the difference between the two. So there's a whole bunch of yin and yangs here, and there's advantages and disadvantages to being on either, and it's going to depend on the country. As Portugal, we want naval more than land because we're going to be doing a lot of naval stuff. As Portugal, the capital versus traditional is really going to be depending on the time of the game. Right now, we want traditional. Later in the game, we're going to want capital. some of these, like quality versus quantity, I don't know if I have a strong opinion one way or the other. Eventually, I think we want centralization more than decentralization. And like I said, you can hover over them. This is if you're maxed out on decentralization, this is what happens. And then if you hover over the bar, that gives you where you're at now. So this is the current impact of being at 15. And then this is the impact of being all the way to the end. So there's two different things to look at. Okay, we could spend all day going through this, and we're not going to do that. All right, so back in the government tab, we have our crown. We got it up to 24%. These are all privileges that the estates have. It costs a lot to remove them. If you watched my first playthrough, I tried to remove, I think, this one. And it causes a stability hit of 142. We're at 29. So going into massively negative stability is a really bad idea. And you saw the outcome in that last playthrough. I got completely destroyed. But right now, a parliament is going to come every so many years. The last one was called 2 years ago. So I think in 3 years we're going to get one. I think it happens every 5. And then right now we're going to worry about our cabinet, though. We have 2 cabinet member spots. One thing I try to explain to people, you don't have to hire a cabinet member. You could just straight up select a cabinet assignment and just do it. You don't have to hire a cabinet member. Everybody thinks you need to. It costs money to have one. And you can still start to just do, you just don't get bonuses. The cabinet members give you big bonuses. So let's pick one, though. So I want to, at all costs, avoid nobles. How do I know? Well, see this little praying hands? That's a clergy. These are clergy. Then this is a burgher symbol, and that's a crown symbol. So this is my prince. So we want my prince to be on the cabinet, so we can get some experience. And then we want, this guy just has awesome abilities. Look at him. We want him on our cabinet. And then we're going to make this guy the head of cabinet because he's just really, really good. And then you might be wondering, what's the head of cabinet do? The efficiency of the cabinet is improved by 25%. Really, really good. Costs money, though. So we just spent a bit of money to get these guys assigned and whatnot. All right, so what do these stats do? Well, if you hover over it, a cabinet member administrative ability at 47 gives these percentages. But the key thing is they help your crown power to go up. And they make buildings cost less, and hiring advisors cost less. And they actually reduce the proximity cost, which makes the control improve. And that's this is nationwide. So both of them are contributing. So this guy has his own at 99. He's giving me a 10% building improvement, a 24% crown power. They add together. They're cumulative. Okay, so big bonuses by having both of them. And that's why you should hire one. And then they're going to actually boost the actual actions as well. So these are all the actions they can do. They're going to boost those as well. Then the diplomatic, you can see, is going to increase your equilibrium. What is equilibrium? Right here, you can see the green bar is how happy they are now. The red bar means they're unhappy, but they're close to being happy because it's near the middle. So red bad, green good. The bars represent where they are now. The percentage above is the equilibrium. So let's say the equilibrium is 50%. If this is at 48%, actually, yeah, look, it's currently at 50%. The equilibrium is 54%, which is a little higher, so it's going to grow by 0.2 every month until it hits that 54%. Then it'll stop. The equilibrium is where it wants to be. There's where it is now and where it wants to be, and then it's going to grow by a percentage every month until it gets to where it wants to be. That's the equilibrium. So these guys change the equilibrium. And then this one, the military ability, helps with the cost of generals and admirals, and also improves the morale of your troops. And then your king does similar things. He also contributes the same, it's actually the same exact abilities. So they all add together. King plus cabinet. So if you'll notice, my crown power is almost at 25%. When we started the game, it wasn't quite, well actually, I might have to wait until a month goes by. It'll adjust. I'm betting we're over 25% now because of adding these guys. Okay, with all that said, you could always click on your guy and do things like get them married. The big one is there's going to be chivalrous orders for them to join. Those are always good. You can send one person every 10 years, and you usually want to send a crown person. This guy's already married. We already have a kid. His kid is actually right here. And then we get to assign some actions. So I like to sort by this so we can see the admin. Admin is his best ability. So we could try to increase control, start developing provinces. We can, but my favorite thing actually is we're going to have him strengthen the government. And then we're going to have this one improve stability. And why are we doing that? Well, I know it's another thing to explain, but we want to start making a profit. And see, we were making negative $8 when this game started. We have not unpaused yet, and I just changed it to positive 0.6. How on earth did I do that? Well, I did that by hiring those people. That's really all I did. I hired those people, and that alone changed how much we're spending on this, that, and everything else. But we're not done. We're going to improve this even more. Okay, let's go through. This is Welcome to Europa. I'm going to get rid of that. It's asking us to pick some rivals. So rivals are people we're going to encourage to go to war with. And then the country is going to get extra antagonism if they do anything with us, and their ability to counter espionage us is going to be lower. So anyways, we're going to pick Morocco, Tlemcen, and Tunis. And if they rivaled us, you're going to see a red flag right next to it. And they will. All three of them will rival us as well. So we're going to rival all three of them. They're completely different religion. We definitely don't want to be their friends. This here is saying that we have a child, Leonor de Bourgogne. She is our ruler's daughter. And right now she's growing up. She's 8 years old. She's getting a balanced education, which the ability has a 0.5 chance, I think that's every month, to improve. Right now her abilities are really low, but she's going to improve in those abilities every month until she turns like 16, I think. She has the ability where her military and diplomatic has a 1/3 chance each to go up. And right now she has a half chance that one ability is going to go up. Just one. It's going to be random. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that and have her have a 75% chance that administrative goes up, and then a 25% chance that any ability goes up, which could be another administration. It's just random. So we're going to do that. So now she's getting a 1/3 chance for military, 1/3 chance for diplomacy, 75 chance for admin, and then a 25 for rando. So that's what we just did. We're basically steering her education. Then we have our crown prince. We need to get him married, and this is there's a really nasty event that comes in this game, and I'm not really looking forward to it. The one that makes the most sense is to marry him off to England, but he doesn't like her. There's an event that happens. But let's do it. It's still the best thing to do. So by doing that, we gain some prestige. So do they. And now we're royally tied to England. This is just telling us that our minting of money is not effective. We have no gold or silver, so we can't mint any money. This is your inflation. This is how much your inflation is changing based on how much money you're minting. And right now, it's 0. We're not making anything. Okay, so we got to get some gold and silver into our market in order to be able to have an impact here. And it's going to be important. We can mint some money without raising inflation. And right now we're missing out on free money as a result. Okay. This is buildings that aren't making a profit. Don't worry about these in the beginning. You could close them and say, hey, I'm going to close that Potter's Guild that's losing 75 ducats. Like, you could do that. I mean, that theoretically is... But let the game stabilize for a little bit, because some of these are going to be fake numbers. Once the market traders get to trade and do their thing, these numbers are going to change. But if you do have a building that's doing really poorly, you can select your building and close it. And how does that work? Well, you just come over here. Let me get to a normal view. So I can go to like Centaurum here and select the Spinners Guild. And somewhere in here should be a key where I can, right here. So I can, right now the building's open, I can click on this button to close it. So that way it doesn't lose money for me anymore. You can also subsidize them, which is like if they don't have enough to operate, you can, basically use the government money to pay for them to operate, because you need them to keep producing resources. Maybe they're needed to repair your ships or whatever. You can subsidize those. This is your population. It's really funny, because if you go into forums, the population will demand things like rice. Like, how many Portuguese people do you know in the 1300s that even knew what rice was? But anyways, they demand rice, and even if they have all the other food available to them, they're demanding sturdy grains, even though there are no sturdy grains in the whole Iberian region. And they have wheat, but for whatever reason, they also need sturdy grains. Like, it's a little silly, but they do demand them, and the game doesn't seem to, like... It should have a more sophisticated system. Like, if you're giving them wheat and fruit and legumes, then maybe they don't need rice. They're all in like the same subcategory of needs. And as long as they're getting one of the needs met from that category, then the other ones are, just because they're missing are fine. But it does mean, though, that if you could find rice and sell it to the market, the demand's going to be really high. Because they're looking for rice and there isn't any, so it's just going to make the price go up, up, up. Okay, last but not least, we need a commander, and we can command our own army, which I'm actually going to do. And the reason for doing that is it helps with our crown power. So this power will go up because I'm commanding the army for my nation and not letting a noble do it, for example. All those things matter. Although later on, I'm just going to take whatever's best. I'm hoping not to be at war early in the game. I know, it's a lot to do. We're an hour in, and I have not unpaused the game yet. And we're still not done. I have 173 ducats. Every ducat you save is a ducat wasted. So let's spend. Let's spend our money. I really am torn on what the right thing to do is. And so let me give you the varying strategies. Strategy 1. There's a YouTuber. I can't remember his name. But he believes that the thing you should make... Now remember, we made a tailor's guild. But he believes you should just max out marketplaces. Make as many marketplaces as you can. He believes that that's the best opening move. And let's take a look. A marketplace will improve the assimilation speed. That's the promotion of... No, that's assimilation. Never mind, that's different. They give you 1 trade advantage, which helps you to be stronger in your market if you're competing against other countries. And it gives you 1 capacity. So remember, we were at 11.3 capacity, so we can only sell 11.3 units of fish. Well, this would make it 12.3. So the +1 capacity allows your tradespeople to trade more goods. So that means selling stuff that you want to sell for profit, and it also means buying things that your people need. So he makes total sense. He believes that this is your best move because it opens the trade capacity for your people. Strategy 2. This is my son's strategy. It's a good one. And it's actually along the same lines. Instead of building marketplaces, though, he thinks we should build market villages. Now, a market village is something that can only be built in rural areas. If you'll notice, my cities can't build it. The marketplace can only be built in a city. The market village can only be built in a rural. So they're very similar buildings. But his strategy is this. And see, they give you profit for building them. The marketplace gives you 0 profit. It just gives you extra trade capacity. And remember, the number was 1 extra trade capacity. This guy gives you 22.22 ducats of profit, and it also improves your trade capacity, but only at 1/10. So you'd have to build 10 of these to get the same trade capacity of 1 marketplace. But you can, and here's why. There's 13,000 peasants. So if I built 9 of these, I'm going to employ 9,000 out of those 13, and I'll have 9 of these making 0.22 each. And I'll have trade capacity almost as good as a marketplace. So why does my son prefer this strategy over the YouTuber strategy? It helps improve the possible laborers and soldiers by quite a bit. It helps with the local food capacity, which feeds your people. And if you could have more food capacity, that means you can sell it on the market. It helps with the trade capacity. And the most important thing that he likes is you could take stone and turn it into jewelry, and you don't need gold or silver. And that is a huge advantage, especially for a country that has no gold or silver in it. So I tend to think that he's right, and I think it matters on which country you are. So I think the marketplace strategy works if you start in a country that has gold and silver. Because if you have a lot of gold, you want to sell it, right? So you need to up your trade capacity so you can sell more units of gold. In this situation, I want to be able to build jewelry. So if I can build jewelry with stone, then I can meet the needs of my people, sell to the market a really expensive item, and at the same time, improve my trade capacity. So like I'm getting all of that. Now, one thing I noticed is you'll see if you scroll down, the profit goes lower. And remember, it's like this Braganca here, Braganca, or however you pronounce it, right? So I'm going to highlight over it. See, it's this guy way up here in the corner, right? As far away. Remember, their control is really miserable. It's really low. That's the reason why it barely makes a profit. So that sounds horrible. And it seems like the least profitable one, so you shouldn't build there. However, if you built all 6 of them there, the control reduces things like how many laborers it makes or how many soldiers. It'll reduce the profit that you get from selling the good, but it doesn't reduce these numbers. You get the full 0.1. There's no penalty to these numbers, even if you build it in a low control province. So it's a great thing to do when you have low control provinces and you're not sure what to do with them. You can put the peasants to work. Now what I like to do is I like to sort it by how many peasants do I have, because here's the other argument. If I'm employing 7,000 peasants, then that's 7,000 that's not going to promote up to a higher class citizen, which theoretically is going to work on a more profitable building. There is that mechanic to the game. But if I have 35,000 peasants, I have plenty of peasants to put to work. I can afford to lose 7,000 of them. If I scroll all the way to the bottom, there's only 6,000 peasants in this particular province. I don't want to be building 8 of these. I don't even have enough peasants to put to work. And I would put every single one of them in my market village, and then none of them are available to promote to a more, upscale role. Okay, I know that's a lot of information, but that's this game. Everything interconnects. All right, so strategy 2 is similar to the YouTuber, except focus on the rural market villages instead. And there's different types of villages, by the way. The farming village is a big food capacity booster. Forest also boosts food and produces leather. And then we talked about market already. And then the fishing one will help you produce fish. And it also helps with sailors, maritime presence. There's a lot of things the fishing one can do for you. The maritime presence, it looks small, but it adds up. But every one of these takes up 1,000 peasants, so be careful. All right, next strategy is to do what we just did. I'm going to get 3 ducats, and I built 4 of those. So that's why I'm going to make $3 doing that. I could build a jeweler. Now be careful. We talked about this. The jeweler, you can see the gold-based jewelry is going to get you $1, but as you go down in types of jewelry, it's not as profitable. And if I look at the jewelry building, it shows you that the market village can make jewelry, but it's only going to make 0.1 of it for 0.4 stone, or we're going to be able to make 1 jewelry for 0.4 gold, right? But see, stone is not an option. You can use amber, gems, pearls, all things that we really don't have access to. So this Jewelers Guild is a Admiral Akbar trap. Don't build any. The profit looks great, and it is great, but we don't have access to those resources. So that building might sit there desperate and hungry for goods. So that's why the market village is the better way to go early game. Okay, so that's one way. The next way is to just look at your resources, and you can see that you're going to get the most for producing iron. So just produce the ones that are going to make you the most money. The last thing you can do, and it's one that I advocate a lot for, is look at your deficits. So fruit. I have a big deficit in fruit, so maybe I should produce more fruit so I'm filling the needs of my people. You could argue, though, that the automated market traders are going to do that. So what is the best thing? I don't know. A lot of the time, though, the deficit is lining up with the other strategies, because look, the fine cloth that we just built 4 of, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 5th ranked one. So we're almost there. This one, I can't produce. So I can't do anything about this. I can produce everything else. These are RGOs. This one, I'm going to have to produce in a building. So I'm going to produce at least 1. We're going to pick the one that makes the most profit. Then we're going to produce 1 of these. These 2 both make profit, so I'll produce 2 of them. And then we have 0 clay. So let's figure out how to build some clay. Centaurum is the best. You want to avoid cities, because these are I mean, they do work. Labor buildings do work, but like Salvaterra is not that much less, and Salvaterra is right here, and it's not a city. So that's the perfect candidate for something like that. So we build 1 there. And I only have $24 left. So the last thing you can do, and this another YouTuber recommends this, is you just go to your RGO builder and do mass expand RGO. And what it'll do is it'll produce an RGO in the most profitable place. And it'll list your top profitable ones. It's just that we don't have enough money. So we're out of money. So, does that mean we can finally hit go? Yes, yes it does. So, let's do that. We're going to improve opinions. We're going to work on maritime. We're going to improve these areas, and let's give it a go. So I'm going to unpause it. It's going to tick by. I'm going to move up to 5 speed. So I'm going to pause from time to time. Here, this is just saying that we have a rivalry declared on us, and we knew that. We just passed our first month, so all the numbers changed. So here it's saying we're getting inflation because now we're minting money. So I just need to move this down a little bit. So that's no longer a red number. And we're going to mint 3.13 ducats, which is good. We're making 8 ducats. There is actually one more thing we can do. We should lower a fort maintenance. So that costs us 6. Another thing we can do is we can destroy our forts. Because we're accepting the fact that Castile can kick our butt. We could just destroy all of our forts and not pay maintenance at all. It's a tough one because I think you can make the game work without needing to destroy the forts. But if I destroyed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 forts, I could reduce my fort maintenance to just 3 ducats. I mean, if you think about it, if I'm getting 3 more ducats, I mean, that's a significant percentage of my overall income. There's an argument to be made, but there's one more mistake I made. This needs to be down to 0. We don't need diplomatic spending up. We're still making 0.05, and that's fine. We're spending 1 on Castile, and that's it. The stability is positive, and so is this. Now, another YouTuber recommends that you just go bam and bam, like that, because you can see I'm still making a profit. And you want to get this to 100 as quickly as possible, because look what it improves. Crown power. And you also want to get this to 100 as soon as possible, because that helps you with pop promotion speed and how happy your estates are. He's not wrong. I did find, though, that the bigger your country gets, the more expensive these become, and they're no longer affordable to have maxed out. But for now, we can do it. We're making a profit. It's not as much profit, but we're making it. And then I also forgot to do this. So what this does is we're shooting for a 50% equilibrium. So it's going to tax them. Here, let me undo one of these. So right now, it's a 56% equilibrium for the burgers. If I don't tax them at all, then it becomes 90%. So this sucker, they're going to just grow and be happy, happy, happy all the way up to 90%. And you can see that right here. 90% equilibrium. So they're going to grow by 0.2. So the growth rate is not going to be any better. But they're going to just keep growing until they get all the way up to 90% happiness. But what I'm doing is I'm saying, hey, I want to tax them until their equilibrium's at 50%. So even at max tax, they're at 53%. But it is possible that as the game goes on, that I could tax them even more and more, and then their equilibrium would drop below 50%. What this does is this keeps changing the tax amount, so they're as close to 50% as possible. That's the idea. So we want all of them to be as close as 50%, and obviously in this case, I'm taxing them to the max, and they're above 50%. That's even better. That's a good thing. And hence the reason we got 4 green numbers here. All right, let's go. So that was another rival. Here we got our buildings. They're producing. This one is producing serially. 100 Years' War has started. The events in this game are handled through what's called situations. And you can see these two, and these are all the nations allied against each other. It's brutal. And then you click here, it'll show you the conditions for how that war will end. And we're just watching from afar. Oh, another thing you'll notice, see, it's naval supplies that's actually the least profitable. The Potter's Guild is not bad at all. Remember that when we started, the Potter's Guild was the bad guy? See, it's equalizing. And you never want to stop building naval supplies. Don't ever stop. Even if you have an oversupply, you always need naval supplies. It's horrible when you don't have naval supplies. And then your people's needs. They're demanding some things. We can handle wheat and fruit, and fine cloth we're working on. We can't do rice. We can't do sturdy grains. Everything else we can start to fill in, but we need more money. Lots more money. So let's go. So now we're only getting 2 ducats, 3 ducats. This is worth it. We want the 5 research. But we are growing at 1.39. When this gets to 100, we won't have to pay money anymore. We can also check. All right, so we got a new outbreak, measles. And this is showing that we don't have enough workers for our clay pit that we just finished producing. So here we're going to create an alliance with Castile. Now this is a forced event that just happens. And usually what happens is Castile will immediately turn around and cancel the alliance with us. The disease, we can't do much about it, but you have your measles here. It's killed 870 people in Al-Hamara, but hasn't killed any of our people yet. Although we are currently we have one location that's infected, but currently nobody has died yet. Another thing, on your maps at the bottom on the far right, geography, no, geopolitics, diseases. You can hover over a province. So Mora here has resistance to all these different diseases. That's the Black Death, Great Pestilence, influenza, measles, smallpox, and typhus. And these numbers will change based on whether you build hospitals and research technology and even have epidemics that affect your area. And then there's Castile breaking off their alliance with us. This is growing, and you can see our crown power is over 25%. And then we finished our first research. All right, so what do we want to do next? Let's do this one. And then I want institution growth as well. So we'll do that one next. And I don't know which one I want after that, so we'll wait. Okay. So if we ignore, the nobility is going to lose 20% happiness, which could eventually cause them to rebel. That's a bad thing. You see, we don't like the nobility. We want to take as many rights away from them, but at the same time, we can't have them be upset. It's like a balancing act. So this one, we're going to agree to let them have a plus 5% equilibrium, which is a good thing. And the peasants are going to get 10% upset with us. Yeah, we're going to do it. So here you can see their equilibrium got negative, and then theirs got better. This is just telling you that there's truce with Castile because they broke the alliance. So no big deal. This is just telling us that we built some buildings, but there's not enough employees. So Avis, for example, we'll deal with this in a second. I improved this to a 2. So there's only 1,458 laborers. I need 2,000. So I'm 541 short. But what's happening is the peasants are promoting up. And we're getting 14 at a time. Well, here we go. Now they're showing us. We're getting 21 laborers. So that's more than 14. So we're getting 21 laborers next month. And that's helping to employ. So that building will eventually work at 100%. I'm not getting 100% efficiency for a while. This here is, there was a university, and it's asking us if we want to move it back to Lisbon. Now, when you see the word policy, be careful. Policies are part of your laws. And this is the Estudo Geral, which is, I don't remember. It's not a military, shouldn't be religion. Socioeconomic, right here. So right now it's not set to anything. So they're letting us set what it's going to be. And so you just got to pay attention. So do we want it to enact the Lisboa one, which is going to let us have centralization points? And it's also going to move the university to Lisboa, which is going to improve the literacy for people and cultural influence, etc., etc. Or do we want to do the Coimbra one, which is going to be decentralization? The university is already there. So there's a couple of thoughts on this. There is a major earthquake that happens around 1351. That's historically, it devastated Portugal. Lisbon will have buildings destroyed. The university could be one of them if you move it back. I think it's a risk worth taking, and here's why. Lisbon is a massively larger city than any other city in the country, and the bonuses that a university gives is to literacy, and literacy is most helpful if you have a larger population benefiting from it, and that's going to help us with our research speed. So I'm going to move to Lisboa. The last thing that's also important is I want centralization, not decentralization. So this is going to help us gradually move there. So we're going to do that, and it does take a while to pass to get that enacted. Now we have a merchant in Sevilla. He's bankrupt. If I let him fall, we're going to lose 10 trade advantage. I'm going to save him. It's only $4. Cheap. It's 1 month of revenue. And we could build some more stuff now that we're getting out of our hole. And this is something worth talking about. Remember how I showed you some of our buildings don't have enough employees? So when you do the RGO builder and it's showing if you build here, you're going to get 50 profit in the next 3 years if I make salt at Alcácer del Sol. That's great, but look, I don't even have a labor available to work. So if I build this there, I'm at -1 labor available. I need 1,000. So I'm going to have to wait for it to promote. I mean, there's 18,000 peasants, don't get me wrong. So there's plenty of peasants to promote up. But that 2.29 is going to take a while before I actually realize the profit. So that is something you gotta be careful of. So there is a sort by laborers available, and then this is sorting by total peasants. So if I sort by laborers available, now I got plenty of laborers here if I want to make more fish, which I don't. But the legumes is going to get me $1.27, and I at least have 550. That's half. So those are some things you got to keep in mind. Is it ever a bad thing to build an RGO? No. It's just sometimes you have to wait until your employees fill the role. So you're not necessarily gonna get that profit immediately. Now another way to look at things, instead of looking at it that way, is I know that we want to build where we have high control. So these are the regions I want to build in. Lisboa being one of them, right? Because I'm at 100% there. This one's a beautiful 88%. I got a bunch of buildings already. I can come here and say, hey, look, I have 360 clergy. I can build a scriptorum for $1.87, and that's going to use 50 of my clergy. It's not even going to use all of them. And then that's going to produce books. That's actually a really good one. So we're going to do that. And then these ones are more rural, and you can see there's nobody here. There are 2 fish going, so that's why there's no laborers. And you can see that the promotion, it's still happening. You know, they're getting 21 laborers, right? But it's just, it looks like there's no buildings, but this is where they're all at, is right there. But the peasants, I can start building those market villages I was telling you about. And, you know, just be careful, because this one has 24,000 peasants, so it could probably absorb having all those peasants, you know, doing that. But just remember, every peasant that's working in a market village can't eventually become a laborer. Over time, all 24,000 can become a laborer, and that's a good thing. Now, when you're in a rural area, not a city, the amount of clergy buildings is reduced. You can't build as many. And then the noble buildings, there's only one, and you can build those in your capital. We have 2 of them. The royal court being a high priority. Both of these are good, but they're expensive. They're 200 each. Okay, I want the research progress always. And then this means that we can start Parliament. So I'm going to click on this. This looks complicated. It's just saying where do you want to do Parliament. If you pick anywhere but your capital, you're going to get decentralization points. And remember, we want centralization, so we're going to pick our capital. And then there's a whole list of things that you want Parliament to debate on. The percentages here is how much support you have automatically. So Parliament is going to be easiest to pass for castle works or ties to neighbors. This one will give us a boost in opinion with Castile. Not horrible. This one will help us with building castles. Horrible. We don't need that. Promoting a member of the clergy can be handy. It increases the equilibrium by 20% until it passes. But once it passes, we get a clergy person in our court, which just means we could have him as a potential advisor. Cathedrals are always good, but they do cost money, so be careful when you're short on money like we are. Why are they always good? They improve literacy. And I believe this is a cheaper way to build them than if you try to build it the old-fashioned way. The naval infrastructure, always a good one. That moves us towards naval instead of land, which we want, and it improves the development of all these regions. What is development? It's the number of buildings you can build inside of that province. The higher the development, the more buildings you can build. Not an issue right now, but 100 years from now it will be. If you don't have the development higher. Promoting a member of the burghers is the same as clergy. It's just going to be a different type of member. Support the state is pretty cool. You improve crown power. And then your king gets +3 to all of his abilities. So it's a, improve your king kind of thing. Our king is going to die soon. He's 48. He doesn't usually live to 60. Probably not a good one. Bolster the government will help improve the legitimacy, which is already at 100. So that's not going to do anything. And then officers, just going to give us more officers to be able to recruit for running our army and navy. I don't need more at the time. It also boosts the peasants, which we also don't need at the time. So to be quite honest, it's either promote a member, build a cathedral, or improve the naval infrastructure. They're all good. The cathedral will cost us money, more than we have at the moment. So let's do naval infrastructure. Okay, so it's showing that it's 24%. We need to get this improved. While we're trying to get this approved, we have 180 days. We could also try to raise additional taxes, get a casus belli to declare war, get for larger levies, which will help us with, it helps us, to basically have a larger army than the 18,000 I showed you at the start of the game. Change a law, which we didn't focus much on the laws, but we have all these laws. We can change one. And some of these are worth changing, but I'll show you a different way that can be done. It's a little more random, but this lets you go after a specific law if you need it changed. But it costs 50% of your support. So we're only at 24%. So I got to get this to 50% to even do one of these. And then it goes back to 0% support for the actual thing we're trying to pass. Because this thing we're trying to pass needs 50% as well. So if you want to do this in addition to the naval infrastructure, you're going to have to get this to 100% support, at least at some point. So how can you improve the support? Well, there's going to be some random events that are going to pop up. They're very random, so you can't rely on them. Or we can do these three things down here. So we can grant a privilege, which is permanent, so be careful. We would be giving urban development grants to the burghers, which improves monthly development and innovative, but gives them 50% power, but they are 5% happier. If we agree to this, we're going to get an extra 9% support. Or we could just build a new monastery. It's going to cost us 20 ducats. Monasteries are good. I'm going to do that. So it cost us 20 ducats. We got a new monastery in Odemira that's being built, and it improved our support. Now they're demanding another monastery. That's interesting. I'll do it again. I'm at $-, but now if you'll notice the percentages are going down. That's because you can't spam. You're going to have to... This was a burger. This is a burger one. See the symbol? That's a clergy one, and then this is what the nobles want. So if you want the nobles to support you, I got to be willing to gain 1 antagonism to move 2 towards belligerent. I'm okay with that. That just gave me 12%. Now, in the process of doing that, passing these twice have caused the nobility to get upset with me. So they dropped low. So I got to be careful. This parliament thing, you anger the classes. All right, so we are going to make $1.49. We're going to owe $1.60. So I'm going to end up going into debt. And so I'm actually going to reduce this just so I can get some profit. There we go. We're out of the hole. And then we're going to bring that back up. Now we're going to lose $1.61 if we do. So we got to be careful. I could still reduce these. Oh, I think the stability one, because if I reduce that all the way, I'm still growing and then getting profit. So it's nice to get that to 100, but it's also a bit of a pipe dream. And then another thing is I'm strengthening the government here, which is not necessary. We're already at 100. So let's change what we want our person to do. We can convert. So we can convert to Catholicism, and we can pick a province and just, basically get rid of the Muslims in our province, make them all Catholic. I mean, to be honest, we're fine. Not very necessary. But I do want to do something else. His best skill is admin. So yeah, maybe now's the time to just develop a province. So which one are we going to develop? We're going to just develop our capital area first. It takes a very long time. It's going to slowly go up by 0.0043. What is that? That's point. Jeez Louise. That's 0.4%. So, and then, we want this number to grow as we go. All right. It's showing that we have unhappy. The nobility is starting to rebel because of this. And we have some Muslims as well that are upset. So it might be worth converting them just to get that to go away. Let's see, we're getting our money back now. That thing where you slide the sliders up all the way for stability and for this, it's a luxury that you can't always do with these smaller countries. If you're a big country, you can do it, but all right, so here's the event. Basically, this lady from Castile came to visit, and our heir, even though he's married, fell in love with her. And we're hoping it's just temporary. See, and she moved into our court. Now, there is something we might be able to do. Where is she at? This is her. She moved into our court. So what's going to happen? I'll play it out for you. She's going to get pregnant to him. And then we're going to have the option to assassinate her, which will succeed. And if we do, he's going to rebel against his father and try to take over the country. Which then we can allow him to just have it. Then the father at least stays alive. He'll join the court and actually serve his son. Or we end up killing the son too, because, he rebels and we defeat him. Or we don't assassinate her, and then there's all kinds of problems with Castile, because, she belongs to them, and we're sullying her honor. Or if I click on her, sometimes you can kick him out of your court, which it does not look like I can do here. So I can have her get married. Now that would be interesting. Let's do that. Let's have her marry someone. Him. There we go. Now she's pregnant. We just lost prestige and legitimacy. This is just telling us we got 5 support in our parliament. Our parliament passed. We got all the bonuses. I'm going to pause real quick. Can we... We are 73 away. See, they desire land. This is bad. If they declare war, we're toast. Okay, I'm going to stop developing, and we're going to do a rebel crackdown. The nobility is growing. So what he's going to do is he's going to try to get the nobles to grow. See, the nobility is still growing, but at a smaller rate than 0.7. So we got it to reduce to 0.13. So do we need the money or do we need this guy? He is an artist. That's what that symbol means. And his ability is... He has a really good art score. He has a 74 quality. It's out of 100. And we can have him produce art for us, but art costs money. And I do not have the ability to pay him, so I'm just going to take the money instead. So now we got good money. Yeah. So we're going to deal with this in a second. I'm going to do what the YouTuber told us to do. Let's try it. Let's build a marketplace. Let's start with, look at that, we could build 13 of them. We already have one all across. Ooh, we have a lot of them already. Sure, we'll build as many as we can here. Okay, so do we murder her? I'm going to say nothing can be done. So it takes a number of days for things to finish. This is still telling us we have a shortage of silver and gold. So our minting efficiency is not always as good as it could be. This is showing that we're getting 19 profit from our markets. And our marketplace is finished. I don't know, I didn't show it to you beforehand, but we were at like 15. So by building those 3 markets, we jumped up to 19. And that is the trade profit for Portugal. So, I mean, it's straight up getting you profit, which is a little different than producing more of a good. But it's still... It's nice because what we're doing is you can see that certain prices are going up in the market, and of course these are our greatest needs. And what they're, we have all this automated, so they're automatically making trades, and our trade capacity was 13, and now it's 14. So, and it's telling us how we're getting our trade capacity, where it's from. And yeah, they're getting $19 in profit. There is a... if we go to the markets, trading, we can see what our current trades are. So currently we're trading marble to Lubeck. We're trading saffron to Cologne. Salt to Edinburgh. We're importing aluminum. Trading away marble. We're bringing in some sturdy grains, which our people need. And it looks like we're bringing in wheat. So this is one we can maybe turn around, because we can produce our own wheat. So having them importing wheat is weak. It looks like marble. Like I didn't realize marble was in such high demand, but apparently it is. And we get to get another technology. I mean, I know there's only 3 to choose from, but I need to see where we're going on the tree. So the Christian path tends to be the better path. Like, all of these are good. Don't get me wrong. None of them are bad. It's just that this one here gives you a stability investment of 0.02. And the cultural tradition is also very good. It's basically there's cultural influence, which is your ability to cause other people to assimilate into your culture. And cultural tradition is like, think of one as the influence is your offense and tradition is your defense. So it's your defense against it. So this prevents other people from, like Castile, from converting us to them. Army tradition is always, always good. This is a 0.05 every month to your army. There is a decay factor, like they lose. Tradition basically is, it reduces how much damage they get. So think of tradition as, if we have two equally matched armies and I have more tradition than you do, then I'm going to take less damage than you for the same punch for punch. And so I should win the battle for that reason. So that's what I mean. These are all really good. And even the diplomats, that 0.05 is going to turn this into a 0.1. So I'm going to go for the army tradition first, stability second, and then the religion. And then we're going to hold off on the rest of these for now. And then we're going to start, I'm going to build more marketplaces. I think that strategy actually is working. Although I will tell you that the village markets is still a good one. You do have the, we could do a mix of both. So this market village, we just have to be careful. We don't want to use up all of our peasants, but this is a really nice profit. See, it's right next to, like, this might someday turn into a city. But let's click on that one. Wow. I want to see the province. So that produces stone. See, I want to produce as much stone as possible from here. I mean, I'm at 34,000. All right, we'll build 2 of them. That's all I can afford anyways. 2 is not a big deal. That'll help us get some jewelry going. Ah, we got this. So we got a little, this is the, I think the kid, isn't it? It's the ruler's grandson. That's his, the mother is, oh, this is the English, the real wife, not the Castile lady. Now, this is a really good one, the best in the game, but you have to pay for it. Because that one is any ability can increase it 75%. But we're going to go to this one. Oh, and then it's saying we're getting inflation. Let's fix that. Oh. See, they're not happy. You lose 20%, but a university is good. Especially if I don't have to pay for it. See, I'm getting silver and then I'm not getting silver. This is saying I don't have enough books. Alright, this one is another major decision. Each one of these is a technology. See this? Every one. We just made it to the Age of Renaissance, which is age number 2. These are unique technologies that are going to be added to the tree. So if I choose military focus, it's going to add all these ones. I'm going to choose administrative focus. Because between the 3, this one is like, hands down to me, the more important one. Why? Right here. Max literacy, 5%. That one is okay. Cost of court, down 1%. That's good. That one can be good. Okay, okay. This one. Proximity cost reduced by 2.5. That's the calculation that's used for control. Control equals money. Stability, 0.02. Anything that helps with stability is good. And yeah, that's why. Oh, we need books. So let's get another book building somewhere. We got a 1.7 down here. So we'll have him build another one. We'll build 2 of them. Okay, professional armies just spawned. And it spawned over here in Brussels. So the way you can look at it is right here. Click over to Ages. I'm going to zoom out a bit. If I hover over professional armies, you'll see this little green right here. Right, so the whole world is dark to professional armies, but Brussels is where it all started. And then it's going to spread. And then we're going to learn about professional armies in Portugal, and eventually we'll adopt it, and it'll become a part of our culture as well. And then we could research it in our research tree, etc., etc. Here you can see I have 5 things queued up. But now that we're in the Age of Renaissance, I could actually start this. So I think I'm going to stick with what I chose. But like there's some nice ones over here as well. This one, really nice. Both of these. There's a really nice one. Same with that one. This is the one we wanted. So is that. Right here, noble satisfaction plus 2.5%. That's really good. I'm going to choose that next. So that's 8th in the queue. Alright, so now we got another event because we let her stay alive. He staged a disorganized campaign against our neighbors out of his own accord. So we're going to lose 20 prestige, 20 legitimacy, and Crown of Castile loses 150 opinion of us. Oh, man. What's with our sons? Can't behave themselves. And now he just died in a hunting accident. Immediately after. It seems like it was unlikely a hunting accident. Yeah, not surprised. So I got both of my guys working on cracking down on, actually just one. Oh boy. Then Parma got Renaissance. So our book building has been improved. This is the university. I mean, that's just, I didn't have to pay anything other than just the resources. That's a gift, a big gift right there. We don't even have the ability to build universities right now. Alright, so our wife died. Who's our heir right now? Yeah, see, she's the wife of the King of Castile. Smallpox is one of the worst ones to get. And our relationship with them is not good. Our son made it all worse before his hunting accident. He was my older brother. Okay, banking in Genoa just started. We have another kid, Fernando, the dead son, and then his Castile wife. And he actually has this one. He's rowdy, so he's got military ability. We have a shortage of books still. And I can build more. So I'm building more marketplace. We were at 19 at one point. We're at 18 right now. So it's not necessarily giving us the best of profit. Who is this? Another one with our English. She must have been pregnant whenever he died in his hunting accident. We're back up to 100, which means we're getting a good profit now. Because as soon as this is at 100, we're not paying money to... We're paying a little bit of money to keep it at 100, but it's not as much. And also, our market, you can see, is fluctuating. So sometimes we're getting a lot of money from the market, and sometimes we're not. Prestige. Okay, so prestige is good. Like, if we ever want to be considered a top nation in the world, we need prestige, and having a great power is the term. Our score right now is 0, and that's a score you get every month. If we had really high prestige, we'd be scoring points. And scoring points is what gets you status in the world, top country in a nation, etc., etc. Right now, as Portugal, don't worry about prestige. Countries like France can worry about it because they're already powerful, but we can't do anything about that right now. Even England, I'm playing an England playthrough. They're like ranked 188th in the world because their prestige is so low. But just now, I'm in the age of discovery, discovering the new world. And I haven't quite discovered the new world yet, but I'm very close. And that, I'm just now starting to get regular prestige so I can score points. But I'm way behind everybody. Anyways, I'm taking the money. That $82, we can come over here and build another 2, 3 marketplaces. Oh, and then we got to do Parliament. All right, so a couple new ones. Promoting the member of the clergy might be nice because if you'll notice, we're running out of cabinet members. We can choose. Some of these are weird. Like this one, it expands the hunting, so we get more fur, basically. And that particular province gains a prosperity bonus of 15%. Sometimes they need it, because, if they get, like, the influenza or whatever, their prosperity goes down. Prosperity is one of those things, like, if the province is ever attacked, their prosperity goes down. And it takes a long time to get it back up. So that's a nice way to boost it. Mining operations is similar, except it's going to be your iron and stone mines. Between the two, that one's probably the better of them. And then gathering is going to be our fish, which is the least important of them all. Army exercises will give us 10 army tradition. Remember, that's, our ability to take less damage. Like I said, this is like long term. This could help us. Equilibrium for clergy. The higher the clergy bar is, the more research we get. It's in here somewhere. I don't remember where, but it's right here. Clergy estate satisfaction contributes towards our research rate. So that's something to take into consideration. And then, of course, cathedrals are like universities. They're really good. What exactly does a cathedral do? Right there. It improves their literacy by 20%. Migration improves, so more people want to move to the area. And this conversion speed is converting them to Catholicism. So, a lot of good ones, actually. I am going to go with the... let's go with the cathedral. And... oh, no. So, I like to do this because it's a cheap monastery, but it's spending more money. But we'll do it. Not quite there. Sometimes if I unpause, see it moved a little bit. So we're at 46%. Let's see what privileges they want to grant. Horrible privilege. Horrible, horrible. Gives them 100% power. No, no, no. This one's not bad. We get a permanent stability of 0.01. I mean, we're at 0.02 growth right now, so... and it gives extra power to the clergy, who's not very powerful as it is. And then this is preventing the institution of professional armies from reaching us. That one is the least important at the moment, so we're just barely there. Random events are going to come, and it could cause us to go negative. So we're going to see. Oh, sometimes, like this right here. I mean, he is 53 years old, so I might be wasting this. Who's our heir? Dang it, it's her. I can't do anything with her. Sure, we'll do it with him. So he could join a order of chivalry. Right now, Hungary's the only one. And he'll get the Order of St. George, which is going to give him military plus 15, diplomatic rep, and monthly prestige. You can see that represented again here. So his military just jumped up to 95, which, I mean, we're not at war right now, but that's still really nice for him to have. So here we could lose 5%, which I think would cause an issue. But it's only $3 to preserve it, so we'll do $3. And then Leonore here reached the age of 16. So that means we can marry her off. It'd be nice to have her in our cabinet. We can marry her off with, like, Aragon here. That'll give us some prestige. His numbers sort of stink. Alright, so it passed. And now we're taking a loan. Because we couldn't afford the cathedral. It's okay, as long as we pay it back. So we're getting a nice income right now. Oh. She... We got an empty cabinet slot. So we cracked down on the rebels. We got rid of those. And it also goes away because, you know, these guys went green again. So the rebel crackdown thing could have prevented me from losing that last game. It's important because what it does is it slows the growth of them actually revolting. And if during that time you can get them to improve, because this does move the bar, you know, every month. And so the combination of the two will eventually cause the rebels, you know, it's just sort of like you're having people protesting, you know, no King Day or whatever. And, you know, okay, fine. They don't like the current president or whatever, but they eventually go back to their homes and people forget that they ever did what they did and they feel good about themselves for that day. So that's sort of the similar concept here. Improving province development is never a bad thing, except he only has a 2. His big strength is military. So let's figure out what he can do with his military. And I think what I want him to do is we're going to change this guy. He's got 99, so we got them all doing the wrong role here. We'll have him develop the province with a 99 strength, and this guy with a 96, we'll have him stabilize. So we're still only at a 0.02. Our debt is 76. There we go. We just researched a 0.02, which literally doubled our growth. We improved relations as much as possible. It's still not enough to get, because they're so upset. That event really hurt us. I don't know what to do. We could still lose after all this playthrough, because I let the girl live. See, look, they're back. So this is siding with the burghers or the clergy, or I'm siding with the, you know, it's one or the other. I'm going to side with the clergy. That helps with our research rate. Our tannery's losing money. I don't know why we lost them as a rival. That's the thing. Like, I don't understand why things change. So this is going to make our nobility very upset. Probably not a good idea. It's going to make the clergy upset. This is going to make the nobility lose money so the clergy gains, but it doesn't upset them. So let's do that. The market's doing well. So our idea of that YouTuber, whether it's the market village or the marketplace, I think it does work because we are getting some decent profits. See, we're short on books again. Always a thing. This keeps popping because, like, the disease is like at the border and then it goes away and then it's at the border. First thing I want to do is pay off the debt. And then let's get some more marketplaces going. Okay, so we died. If I'm willing to spend 90, I get 20 prestige and legitimacy. I'm already at 100 legitimacy. The prestige would help, But that's all that happens. But see, then I lose it if I don't spend the money. I'm going to lose it. And then next thing is because we have an itinerant government, it's one of the laws. So we have itinerant court. And this can change. But basically it's about moving the capital around. So what we could do is we can move to like Porto, and then the capital's up here, and that's going to have 100 control. It's a really bad idea because we just built all these tailor and fine cloth buildings, and if I move away, then the control is going to go down, and the amount of profit we're going to get from them is going to reduce. And then Porto is now the new place where you have to build. So I just take the legitimacy penalty and just stay in Lisboa. And so now we have a marriage union with Castile. And the good news is we protect each other now. So they're not going to attack us. So this is actually the wife of the King of Castile. So the Queen of Portugal is we're in a marriage union with Castile at the moment. And here he is right here. And our heir is actually her son. So we lost the chain by allowing that girl to live. And our son dying, we now put into a chain of events where we have Castile's family line running Portugal. So that was the consequence for what we did. However, we got one of our goals. I don't have an alliance with them, but we have a marital union, which is this. And so basically, it's a decentralized union. Every member will defend each other against foreign attackers. So what it basically means is I don't have to worry about them attacking me. So that's a good thing. And also with this low profit thing, there is a strong argument to be made that we should be destroying some forts. But I just feel like having them there is helping in other ways. How, you might be wondering? Well, it reduces unrest, so you have less rebels. More nobles means more tax revenue. And it does, because it's in the capital of a province, it prevents them, because if they take this one province, then all these other provinces fall along with it. But the castle makes it harder for them to take it. Like I said, if it's Castile, it's all you're doing is delaying how soon they're going to take you over. But anyways. Right, so this is Italian wants to come and help us with our fortifications. It's just a big waste of money. I just take the hit to prestige. We were already at 0, so losing 5 didn't hurt us. We're getting this back up to 100 because I am investing a lot of money to keep this. So I could get a lot more money a month to let that fall. So the idea, though, is technically if I reduce this to 0, that's really what I'm paying. Because I'm going to be paying 5 ducats just to prevent it from falling. And then I'm spending 6 ducats to raise that up to 100. You know, how badly do I need it to be at 100? I probably don't. Yeah, we could probably afford to reduce this, actually. Let's make it like a 0.3, like that. So that gets us some better income. Because we need to, again, the more marketplaces we have, the more money we're going to start making. And I do need to build a hospital. Because the Black Plague has started. And our army is lacking a commander. So let's figure that out. Again, if I put a noble, then it's going to be it's going to give them more power. So I'm going to put our king, which is the King of Castile, by the way. That's funny. So we'll do that. And that helps our crown power, which is really reduced right now. See, I put him in charge of it, and then he left. This happens a lot, by the way. This is actually a really good guy, but he's working in my cabinet, so yeah, we're not going to choose him. This is an actual general ability. Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to give it to a noble. This is saying our heir is too young. That just, we have unhappy estates. This is our unprofitable buildings. This is just, we need these resources. Castile's not going to be happy with us, but this is the bigger one. We can't afford that. It's much better to lose the legitimacy. And we're short of books again. So our head of the cabinet is, I don't know, you could read this. He did some stuff. We can kill him. And I usually almost always take the stability hit, because that keeps him in the cabinet. And I need 200 for the hospital. I'm thinking of building books because we're constantly short on books. So that's the scriptorium. I'm going to build 2 of them. Revoke privilege. Oh, that was one of our techs. You can see we got 3 more queued up. So the Pope passed this. Antagonism reduced by 20. That's for aggressive countries. Doesn't really do anything for us. The monastery doesn't have enough people working for them. The Black Death is here. So now we can lose some stability. Yeah. And you can click on it. It shows you this is where the Black Death is, all the black areas. You can see it's been spreading around the world. By the time it gets to us, it's already ravaged most of Europe. There's a lot of things with this event, and I really don't show you as much. I could build disease-resistant buildings, which is like a hospital. That costs 200 gold. The Black Death situation, I can move my court into hiding, which costs me 10 stability, but it would help, make it so maybe my court members won't die. I can try to control the food market. I can isolate the country. I can try to procure remedies or segregate the infected. all of these things upset your people and really don't do much. So like I just let it happen. And right now we're at 7,000 deaths. This is our population ticker. And we're at 1.352 billion. We're going to lose about 550,000 people before this is all over. So it's just beginning for us. So Guillermo de Faro, one of our cabinet members, died of the bubonic plague. So he was a really good one. So can I replace him? Yes, I can. Should I? We're going to spend some money and... So I've been doing marketplaces, but I actually think we need to go to our RGOs and let's get some of those going. I know it was only 2 of them, but Crown Prince Pedro Borgoña died at 14. He was the heir to Castile and Portugal. That's not good. Who's our new heir now? Juan de Borgoña with horrible... Look at it, he's slow. And he's the next heir? Oh, jeez Louise. We're in trouble. So you can see our population was going down by 100,000. $461,000 deaths so far. Who's Daniel de Lomia? Oh, he's my other cabinet member. He was a good one. So we're going to lose 76, reduce the presence in Porto by 10%. Oh, how bad is the presence in Porto? 10%. We're going to lose some prestige, which I have none of. Yeah, I'll just do that. Save the money. So how bad is it for us? 539,000. Let's get 5 research. Queen Maria has momentarily... So she gets societal values. This is worthless. Or we gain some legitimacy. Let's do legitimacy. That made this number go up. Plague tax. Your money's due. Including those of you that are dead. Oh. Bolster the government is nice because this gives you 20% crown power. This improves our members. This actually converts Beja into a town. That's the one we want. Converting into towns is expensive, so if you can get Parliament to do it for free, that's a really good way to go. Now, these are just supporting, you know, the binary left or rights. Same with this one. Actually, all 3 of them are. This one gives me 21%, so I'm going to take that. Let's unpause. See, we're already in support. Got even more support. Okay, the burgers have medicine, basically. We can cause them to be 20% angry. Let them keep it, then the commoners get angry. Or tax them for it. We gain 22 ducats. I'm going to let them keep it. Let's pause real quick. This change policy, like I said, it could be good, it could be bad. So they want us to put uneducated masses, which makes the nobles and the clergy get a literacy bonus. The nobles are going to be 5% happier. And then we move towards traditionalists and serfdom. Both of those we don't want. Right now I have education of the masses, which everybody's education is better, including laborers, peasants, and soldiers. And there's a lot more people that are peasants and soldiers and laborers than there are clergy and burghers. I still think that's the better move. So I don't want to do that one. We don't need the support. I was just considering it. Because this is a way to change policies for free without having to do much. Okay, so we got upset people. We'll have to live with it. They're not forming a rebel movement yet. So we got time. Our 561,000 deaths. That extra 10,000 might be because I failed to build a hospital in time. This is they want to use subjects as or say that our people were responsible and spread rumors. So the Andalusi, I think, are they're the Arabic people. It says right here. So basically, I can blame it on them, and it causes them to lose happiness, which would make them rebel. Or I can just have my own people with the Portuguese culture lose 10%. And I'm going to do that. We have a lot of Andalusi in our country. Alright. I lost 5%. That was one of the random events, but we're fine. Castile wants to help us. We can get 15 medicaments. Now let them do what they please. We're losing money, but a large part of it is look at how many buildings don't have enough people working in them anymore because the plague killed them all. And like I said, most of these buildings, there's still plenty of peasants, but we lost a lot of the, because when you don't have that many in the first place and you lose half of them, it's a big deal. And we might have even lost half the peasants as well, because if you look at the situation, we lost 563,000 people and we had, what, 1.2 million? I mean, we lost almost 50% of our people. Right, so this is a good one. Beja became a town, which is right here. So this was rural. I mean, the wheat is nice, but having it as a town means we can build some of the clergy and other buildings that normally can't be built. It's not that far from the capital, so the control's not great right now, but eventually it can be a prosperous city. And it happened essentially for free. Here you can see our army even got hit by the plague. We got reduced to 204, but that'll improve. The negative 72 just means we need more people to get them back to full strength. Our cabinet member, it's almost never a good job to fire him because it costs so much money to hire a new one. Alright, so we got somebody old enough to contribute. Let's see. This person is still the slow one. See, I don't even get to control this. Castile's choosing this. His stats are horrible. It's 24. These are error. It's getting better. Improve our reputation again over time with them. We're still getting techs. Clergy's a little upset. We can raise this up a little bit because we don't need inflation to go down. We can reduce the cost of court a little bit. We'll give them help. It doesn't cost me any money. We move towards plutocracy, which is not horrible, and they get happier. Then they just pass this, which makes the clergy happier. We're only at $3 in profit. That's not good. Right here, 453. We need more. We need more. What's going on? Oh, I don't have enough. That's what's going on. Build another one. Put the pressure on. Okay, so if I click on this building inside of Lisboa, like you can change like how they make stuff. Right now they're using silk, which but see, I think we can subsidize them. So even though they're short on employees, we're going to have them get to work and make us money. See, look, our money just shot up. So how does the subsidy actually work? When a building's not profitable, it will not buy the goods it needs. Enough ducats each month to survive. Yeah, I don't know if that does anything. Because we're short on employees, not profit. Oh. Okay, so we finished researching the stuff that we said we would do. So we still have itsy bitsies of this tree, right? Because we came down and researched some stuff, not everything. And there's a lot of stuff we want. We want what's down here or there. I want the proximity cost. This helps us to have higher control in our provinces. This one will reduce the expected court costs, which, in case you're wondering, is this thing. So it's going to lower that by 1. I think that's pretty significant. Oh, 1%. Okay, not as significant, but I still think it can be good. The Army morale and Navy morale are both good. This one. Nobles literacy. We need that. This would have been nice before the plague. I can never figure out how to get that in time. We'll get Army morale and Navy morale. There's a lot of other ones that are buried, and I don't have it all remembered. So let me scroll over here. I know I want stuff on the right side, these two. It's just that there's a lot of research we got to do just to get to them. I'm already getting to here. That one I want, so we're going to add that. And then these ones are nice, but they're not necessary right now. Like construction speed's always nice. That fort limit, we want that before we start colonizing other places. Monthly prestige, always good. Stability investment, yeah. So we're going to do this, then this. Nope. Then monthly prestige. Let's hold off. I just selected a whole bunch of stuff. That Mediterranean galley is an upgrade to our current galley. We just added 17 to the queue. That's a lot of techs. That's always good. Can be good. So I'm just picking one of them. I almost always pick the nobles because they're the hardest to raise. Even though the burghers probably needed it the most right at this time. Okay, the captain of our navy just died. These are some naval bonuses. That just takes it away from the nobles. Alright, I'm at 242. I'm going to end the video here. I hope that the audio is much better for you. And again, I understand, like some people want me to edit out the boring parts. I'm not going to do that. We're playing the game, and you're going to play the game. Fast forward if you need to. But anyways, thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome, guys.